For nearly 4 years, Roman Reigns was not just a WWE superstar, he was the WWE superstar. As the tribal chief, he was the company's gravitational center, a rare combination of long-term storytelling, character work, and dominant in-ring psychology. From his shocking return at SummerSlam 2020 through his historic reign as undisputed WWE Universal Champion, Reigns was the axis upon which the WWE Universe spun. But post-WrestleMania 41, everything changed, and not for the better. Roman Reigns' current status isn't just the result of one misstep or title loss, it's the culmination of a deep, festering creative identity crisis. The fallout from WrestleMania 41 wasn't just a missed opportunity. It was WWE squandering the most compelling betrayal in modern wrestling history. Paul Heyman turning on Reigns to side with Seth Rollins. What should have been a narrative earthquake was treated like a footnote. And now, Roman Reigns, the centerpiece of WWE's storytelling revolution, is drifting without purpose in a company that seems unprepared to evolve his arc beyond gold. The betrayal that changed nothing. WrestleMania 41 should have marked a definitive turning point. Heyman, the wise man who masterminded Roman's dominance for nearly 4 years, stabbed him in the back in front of the world and joined forces with Rollins. On paper, this was monumental, a betrayal on par with Seth Rollins' original split from The Shield. It had the weight of Shakespearean drama, the legacy-shattering impact of Hogan's NWO heel turn, and the emotional punch of The Shield's implosion. But what followed was nothing. There was no passionate promo from Roman, no slow-burning revenge arc, no psychological unraveling. Heyman's defection, which should have signaled the crumbling of an empire, was treated like an afterthought. Reigns disappeared from weekly TV, stripped not only of his title but of his narrative importance. Meanwhile, all the focus shifted to CM Punk and Seth Rollins, with Roman's absence being explained not through character but through silence. The betrayal that should have altered WWE's power structure became filler. And Reigns, once the most calculated, manipulative champion in decades, became a ghost. Not the haunting kind, but the kind that's forgotten. A masterwork left unfinished. Reigns' character arc from 2020 to 2024 was perhaps WWE's most consistent and nuanced long-term storytelling effort in the modern era. Each match was more than a bout. It was a political chess game, a study in psychological warfare, and an exploration of family, loyalty, and dominance. Roman's every word carried weight, and every victory was a statement about his control over the company's ecosystem. His run wasn't about high work rate matches or shock wins. It was about command. He didn't just beat opponents, he absorbed them into the bloodline mythology. His evolution, from failed babyface to paranoid dictator, felt earned. And his partnership with Paul Heyman was the emotional backbone of that transformation. So, when Heyman betrayed him, it should have shattered Roman's identity. Instead, WWE offered no insight into Roman's mindset. He hasn't confronted Heyman. He hasn't appeared to process the betrayal. He hasn't spoken about losing the title, the bloodline's fracture, or his shattered kingdom. The man who once built the island of relevancy hasn't even acknowledged its collapse. A narrative left to rot. The real tragedy here isn't that Roman lost his title. It's that WWE doesn't seem to know what to do with him now that he has. For years, Reigns was the long-term plan. His every move had purpose. His matches headlined pay-per-views. His presence spiked ratings. Fans booed him, then respected him, then were captivated by him. But now, he's neither the villain nor the hero. He's not chasing redemption or revenge. He's not leading, challenging, or rebuilding. He's simply absent, with no narrative weight behind his name. WWE hasn't just failed to continue his story. It's failed to acknowledge that there is a story left to tell. Even the Bloodline, once WWE's most intricately layered faction, has become disjointed. Solo Sikoa has stepped into a leadership role with no clarification on Roman's feelings about it. Jey Uso is isolated on Raw, Jimmy Uso floats aimlessly, and Heyman's allegiance has shifted with no explanation. The emotional threads that once bound this family saga together are now loose ends WWE refuses to tie up. Roman's silence doesn't deepen his mystique, it erodes it. Each week he's absent without character development as a weak fans invest less in the story that once defined the company. Not a star lost, a star wasted. This isn't about Roman being overexposed. If anything, the opposite is true. The fans haven't rejected Reigns. They've waited for him, chanted his name, speculated about his next move. They've debated how the betrayal will change him. But when WWE offers no follow-up, the fans eventually stop asking questions. Roman isn't a Brock Lesnar-type attraction. His character isn't built on shock returns or destruction. It's built on presence, on week-to-week character development, on psychological tension and slow burn arcs. Removing him from the narrative doesn't protect him. It robs him of the very storytelling engine that made him great. And let's not forget the business side. Roman Reigns sells tickets. He moves merchandise. His appearances spike ratings. His name adds legitimacy to any feud. Letting him drift in creative purgatory is more than a narrative blunder. It's a financial one. The path forward. Deconstructing the tribal chief. The solution is neither complex nor radical. WWE doesn't need to reinvent the wheel. They just need to have the courage to evolve it. Roman's next chapter doesn't need to start with a title chase. It needs to start with identity. Step 1. Let Roman speak. Give him a platform. A sit-down interview, a somber promo, an impromptu appearance, to finally address what happened. Have him reflect on Heyman's betrayal, the collapse of the bloodline, and his fall from power. Let him question his own legacy. Was the tribal chief a lie? Did he lose sight of what mattered? Step 2. Rebuild with purpose. Roman doesn't need to turn babyface. He needs to become something new, an anti-hero driven by legacy and vengeance. His authority was once rooted in bloodline and dominance. Now it must come from something deeper, survival and resurrection. Step 3. Inject him into the present. Reinsert Roman into the CM Punk versus Seth Rollins dynamic, not as a background player, but as the third pillar. All three men have shared history, betrayal, and a claim to legacy. Build toward a collision that feels inevitable, not manufactured. The layered psychology writes itself. Step 4. Resolve the bloodline arc. Whether it's civil war or reconciliation, the bloodline must have closure. Roman should confront Solo, Jimmy, and Jay, not just to reassert control, but to explore his own failings. Did his obsession with dominance break the family? Is he willing to rebuild what he once destroyed? The real stakes, WWE's legacy of transition. WWE has long struggled with the post-dominance phase of its top stars. When Cena stepped back, there was no clear handoff. When Undertaker lost the streak, there was no long-term consequence. Roman Reigns was the answer to those creative voids, a character designed with depth, presence, and adaptability. And yet, here we are again. WWE has reached the end of a legendary reign and doesn't know how to write Act 2. Roman Reigns isn't just another part-time legend. He's not a nostalgia act. He's a once-in-a-generation character whose story isn't finished. His fall from grace should be epic, tragic, redemptive. It should say something about power, loyalty, and identity. Instead, it says nothing. And that silence is WWE's loudest mistake. Conclusion. Reignite the fire. Roman Reigns is the most complex, compelling character WWE has created in the last 20 years. But without direction, he risks becoming a cautionary tale. Proof that even greatness can be squandered when storytelling falters. WWE still has the tools. They still have Paul Heyman. They still have the bloodline. They still have CM Punk and Seth Rollins. Most importantly, they still have Roman Reigns, and the audience still wants to care.